Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Strive for 9. No, I mean...
8 is enough.
8 is enough. Well, Strive for 9 is better. Anyways.
I don't know. There's been lots of cute baby pictures around lately.
You know how many people...
A kick in my gut. Like, oh.
You know how many people are having babies or going to be having babies because... they're spending more time together. Hello.
That's true.
How you doing? You're looking good.
Thanks.
All right. So if you've never joined the show, my name is Ira. This is my wife, Alicia. We are the Bowmans. 8 is enough. Yeah, we know it was a show name in the 70s, but they didn't have a hashtag and they had spaces, so we kind of borrowed their name. But it is from our children. We have 8 children. Yes, we really do. Hang on a second. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you. Well, I'm not gonna show you all of them because one of them's actually not. One of them's not living with us anymore. He's older. He's out there. He's in the world. But these are the 7 that we have at home. And in full disclosure, this one, Brutus, left us. And she moved to Florida. So we got one in Florida, we got one in Texas, and the rest of them are now living here full time. So there's 6 kids with us at home. But that's how we got the name of the show. 8 is enough, because I said strive for 9, and my wife said, no, you're out of your mind. 8 is enough. Okay, so we have guests. They just showed up. Awesome. Stuart and Allie, we will be with you in just a second. So what is this show? What is it about? What are we doing here? Well, we do 3 things on a regular basis. Are you prepared?
Yes.
Okay. My wife's going to tell you.
Sort of. Right. Okay. So business to business.
Business to business what?
Marketing.
Sales advice.
Sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marketing.
Okay.
And business consumer to consumer.
Yep.
And nonsense.
Nonsense. Shenanigans. True.
It makes me think of Seinfeld, the show about nothing, right?
No, Joe and I do that on Saturdays. Don't steal our
Oh, do you guys say that?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Yeah. All the time. Look at this. We got a bunch of people. How do you do it? You know what? My wife is a talented lady. That's what it really is. I had one job in this world to pay for them. Yeah, Bonnie, I didn't know you didn't realize that we had 8 kids. So I was on a thing earlier, Exit Your Way. We were doing why video is so important in marketing earlier today. And Bonnie was on, and we were kind of at the end. We were just, gabbing. There was 4 or 5 of us there. And I was telling the guest speaker, our speaker, that I had 8 kids. And Bonnie goes, what? And I go, what do you mean? You don't know? But yeah, there you go. And speaking of Speaking of the devil, yes. What is this show about? It's about
the Alicia Bowman show. No, he doesn't let me talk enough for that.
I just let you talk.
I know, but he gives you such grief.
We'll let you talk next week. Now, so one of the reasons why we do the show, it's a little bit different. It's a couple show, right? So it's Ira and Alicia and Joseph Stepke, who's my partner in crime. His wife is too chicken to come on our show. They were going to be the...
Well, be nice to her then.
I'm not afraid of her. She's in Indiana. What is she going to do? She has long arms. She might smack Joe, but I don't care. That'd be just fine. So Joe Stepke and Jen didn't want to come on. Well, Joe does, but Jen doesn't. So anyways, I have another set of friends that are going to be joining us in a second because what? We are talking about MLM stuff. We're talking about regular sales stuff. And we're talking about entrepreneurial stuff. Well, my friend Stuart runs his own business, Perdo Business. Although I think he says it Peridot. Anyways, however you say it, he can correct me in a minute. He runs that.
They're laughing at you. So,
I know. Yeah. I'm used to people laughing at me, so that's fine. So he runs that. He is a talent. Dude, this guy, wait till you see it. Stuart, I need you to put in the chat the link to whatever you got to your woodworking. I didn't have that handy, so we can share that on the screen. I have your business website up. And then if we have Allie's MLM stuff, we want to promote that too. So that's what makes it unique. It's like, you know what? He and I have a lot in common, except for they live where no human is supposed to live because it's too damn cold. Now she's really laughing because she knows.
Where is that?
They're from Toronto, Canada. Did I get that right? Is it Toronto? No, it's not Toronto. Anyways, it's Canada. They'll tell us in a minute.
Oh, that's right. I remember Canada.
Yeah, Canada 8, because they're friendly. So we're going to bring them on, and we're going to let them tell stories. I was going to have them on or ask them to be on the whole time, but then I remembered we're talking about your breast stuff today.
Are we still doing that?
Yeah, we are. We are. No, we're going to do that. So not that.
Talking about the tatas today.
That might be a little weird for someone else to be on the show, or we're talking about fake boobs. I don't know. Maybe. So, anyways, we decided we're gonna have them on.
For those that might not stick around, it's about breast implant illness. So not just about boobs.
Yeah, no, it's not about the boobs and my obsession with them. It's about what happens when they leak and you don't know it. Ooh. So anyways, every week we share a story. Usually they're anecdotal, they're funny, they're meant to make me look bad, obviously, most of the time. But in this one, we thought we would do like a public service thing. So this is probably the most serious one we'll probably ever share.
We're not sharing the chauvinist pig because you did.
Not this time.
Okay.
I got to delay that chauvinist.
Okay, because I had heard you talking, telling people that we were
teasing it.
So
we'll do that next week.
Okay.
So join us next week. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guest. So you guys are going to be live. So look alive here. And there they are. Oh my goodness. She's like, what is this magic? Now you're on mute. I don't know if you know that, but you're on mute.
Having me on mute is safer, Ira.
I do know that. I was actually about to say that.
I need a mute button for him. Right?
Joe Stepke wants to come on as my producer for this show, and not to be on camera. He just wants us to have separate mics so he can mute me and hear her talk. So let's do this. Let's do like a minute. You're used to this, Stu. Do just like a minute. Just introduce yourselves and the name of the businesses and stuff like that, and then we'll get into more detail.
Well, this is my lovely partner in crime, so I'll let her go first because she's definitely the brains behind the show.
I'm not sure about that. My name is Allison, or Allie, and we live in just north of Calgary in Airdrie, Alberta. Yes, it's very cold, very cold. And I am a stay-at-home mom to our two children. We're also raising our niece, and I sell for both Pampered Chef and for Epicure. Epicure is a new to the United States product or company. So I can definitely put in a little bit of information about that, but that's me in a nutshell. And I'm also taking some studies on the side because I am a spiritual medium as well.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot in common, and we do know Pampered Chef. We don't know that.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I mean, doing MLMs, a lot of times you hear about them, but I haven't heard that one.
If I can get one of you guys to type in, I don't care where you do it, type it in the comments here. We actually have a private chat. If you've already done it, it looks like you've sent me a message, so that's cool. If you have it, I will share. The goal is to get some of the people watching this, whether they watch it live or later, to come visit your websites to sign up and become customers and all that stuff. So hopefully we'll help you with that. That's part of the benefit of going through the torture of being grilled by the bones. So there you go. Now Stu, I know because Stuart engages with Win-Win Networking, and we know each other from LinkedIn. I met him, and he's a really good guy. But when I started to really pay attention was when he started to do his woodworking stuff. I was like, that's really cool. So you have a website that's ready to go, share, or it's still in development? I know you were working on it.
It is ready. It's live. It's a full e-commerce site. I've actually just put the link here in our chat, Ira.
Sweet.
And,
so grab it. I'm going to grab it and pull it up. Hang on. You can talk. That's okay. I'm gonna pull it up here.
The e-commerce side of it, I don't have fully set up on shipping everything to the United States. Some stuff I do. The larger products, I do not offer the ability to choose shipping. However, if anyone is interested in any of the products, just reach out to me because I would probably send them down via UPS or via FedEx versus using the postal service, etc. Because in the larger products, that's just really not an option.
So he's doing the woodworking, guys. So when you're seeing these pictures, what you're looking for is the thing made of wood, not all the other stuff.
Look, I could actually use my bath bombs and take a bath and maybe not drop the stuff in the tub.
Yeah. Yeah.
We said that last week.
Bath bombs. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We got all kinds of stuff. The thing that I was looking at this week was
the gnomes.
No, the standing desk. Where'd that go? I saw it already. It's there somewhere. Anyway, he's got this thing that you can put on your desk and put all your stuff on it and stand up, or you can use it when you're sitting like at a couch. You can use it as a desk too. So it was like, and it's my kind of construction, y'all. You just have to open it up.
It'll be on the second page of the shop there, Ira.
Is it?
I like those things.
Well, I hope all you
toward the bottom.
If you in the audience are watching and you're getting a headache, I will put this in the link in just a second.
Nope, you just went by it there.
But there it is right there. So this thing, really cool. Now these prices, that little C in front of that means Canadian.
So cheap.
If you're watching this in the United States, just take like 30% off, and that's rough. That's the rough idea. Anyways, okay.
I want to look at the headboards too.
Yeah, we don't.
He's got me shopping here.
We don't have one. So yeah, I've already told Stu that I'll probably be buying some stuff from him. He knows. Okay, so for those of you in the audience, let me do this. Let me get this here. So if you're interested in any of this artwork, Stu, tell us about how you got into woodworking and the genesis of this.
So I've always enjoyed working with wood, but it's actually started, and it still is, as a family business for us. And it was really based upon, as it's showing there, our family values. And the idea of it was to help our kids learn about entrepreneurship, family values, and a work ethic. And so our son is autistic. Our niece, who has now joined us, is ADHD. And working with crafts, wood, and projects is actually a very great way for them to take their brilliant minds and put it to practice and learn what they can do with it, especially on the woodworking side with math. Everything in my son's world is about math. Woodworking is about math. And it started out as a concept of building dog dishes because he wanted to build something for his puppy. And it's basically grown from there. And we launched it as an e-commerce just before Christmas.
Cool. It's awesome. Now, do you do it all yourself, or do you have a team? Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you have other people helping.
It is fully our family. So everything is done in-house by my wife, myself, and the 3 kids.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much my team too. Although I do have, in full disclosure, people are like, with Bowman Digital Media, do you do everything? Well, I can, but a lot of times I don't have time. So I do have source partners that I use for some of this. But for example, some of the animations that I did, actually, most of the animations I did this week, I did myself. But some of the animations I did 2 weeks ago, I had some of my animator team doing for me because I didn't have time. So it just depends. But all right. So you have a huge shop with all kinds of tools?
No, I actually converted it started out as a small area space in our basement, and we outgrew it. So I took the garage away from my wife from parking her car, and the garage is now the wood shop because we do need the space in order to accommodate the work that we've been getting coming in.
And you live in Canada where it's below you get snow. What do you get snow like 10 months out of the year?
Not quite, but there is times that we will get snow in July and August. So yeah.
Now we went camping, totally unrelated, but we went camping one year with my dad in Yellowstone, and was it July? I don't know.
So.
It was summer something, and it was so cold, and it did snow one night, right?
No, it was just rain.
It was just rain. Anyways,
well, but we had six sick kids with RSV that we were then like hooking the car battery up to nebulizers, and we're like, this is too cold. We're out of here. They're gonna get worse. So
we had to go.
See you later. But
we're wimpy Californians, and when we say Californians, we mean Southern California, where it just 70 degrees. Now that's Fahrenheit, but 70 degrees Fahrenheit. We wear jackets. I wear jackets.
I want to hear Allie go about.
Yeah, that's quite warm to us.
Yeah. So Allie, do you have the link for? Oh yeah, you got it right there. Okay, so here I'm gonna do. Let's do Epicure first.
Can you tell us a little bit about? Like, I'm geeking out. Like, okay, what is this one?
My wife is actually she's interested in the show today. She's usually not interested. Okay, so here we go. So it's called Epicure for all you. Well, you talk about it. I'm going to put the links in the comments for our guests.
Sure. So Epicure is it's a Canadian company. It's where it started in Canada. It's recently come to the United States. I believe it was the summer of 2019. So almost a couple of solid years. It was started in British Columbia by a lady who merely wanted to, busy moms, kids, life. Like she was putting together packets of seasoning spices and sort of easy to make meals. I'm going to grab my seasoning that's already put together so I can easily make my meatloaf, that kind of thing. Because, when we have kids and lives and jobs and everything, sometimes dinner can be quite a rush. So that was sort of the premise behind it. And they want to basically get healthy food on the table for families in 30 minutes or less. With some of the silicone cookware and whatnot over the years, they've actually revolutionized sort of microwave cooking, which is something that it goes against a lot of the values that I have learning to, growing up. It was all about cooking slowly and on the stove and in the oven. And so basically they're just trying to get healthy food to families in a hurry, and a lot of the stuff is it's kosher, it's gluten-free, low sodium, low sugar. Like some of our favorite sweet treats that we have, they're sweetened with cane sugar, and they're made with alternative flours too. They're peanut-free. A lot of stuff we have is also vegan. So they're just trying to incorporate more health-conscious eating.
So you have a lot of gluten-free stuff, because I know so many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of gluten-free products, and in addition to nut-free as well, which is super important.
So one of the reasons why we talk about MLM on the show each and every week. My wife is a director level as Sensi, right? And so it's the same idea. A lot of people in their minds have. I'm gonna pull this down for a second, and I'll put it back up. A lot of people in their minds, when they hear MLM, and I'm sure you counter this, they think pyramid scheme. They have like that synonymous when it's completely different thing. Right. So just tell us a little bit, how long have you been doing or working in the MLM? Because you're doing two right now. So Epicure. So when did you get started with it? And what has your experience been as far as like earning money and doing, my wife likes to call it sponsoring. Not recruiting, but you know what I mean? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for me, I would say that I'm not as experienced. I have joined in the past with other companies, and that you get it's recruited, because that's what it was. I like the sponsorship rather than the recruiting, but it was literally a recruitment because I didn't go anywhere with it. You hear all the the fancy things, and you don't go anywhere with it. So I've done that before with a couple of companies. With Pampered Chef, I started about a year ago, and it took off, and I did really well sort of for the first 3 months. And then of course March came, and people are what's going on, and it was shipping, and when the pandemic started. So I stopped for a couple of months. tragically, my sister passed away as well. So I picked it up again in July, and I've definitely grown and learned a lot and hit every target, every milestone that I set forth for myself. Epicure came about this past fall, and with Pampered Chef, I mean, it's been in our kitchen since 1980. It's a company that's well renowned throughout North America, and it's all food. I mean, it's we often joke around because Stu's, one of the first things he said to me, one of the pickup lines he said to me, it was terrible. It was terrible, but now I laugh because
wait, you're gonna share the line.
Oh, I'm an open book. I'm an open book.
Let's do that because
next week we're gonna do that.
We're gonna yeah. So
I'm an open book. So it's all about food. And so Stu will tell you, Stu Gerber. His name is food. His name is food. So here I am, and I'm selling.
This is why we get along so well, Stu.
Yeah, it's all about. So food. It went together and it complemented Pampered Chef. What I did not expect, while I have used Epicure products in the past, is I didn't expect the level of success that I've had. So it's been amazing, and my motivation has changed because of the pandemic, because I've been a stay-at-home mom. Stu, of course, we know he lost his employment in the end of April, and now we have 3 kids. I mean, I don't. You've got six kids. No one warned us that 3 kids was going to be a big change from 2, and the expenses that come with that, right? So we literally, are relying a little bit more on the income. So it drives me and pushes me and motivates me to perform. So we really like
it. With the pandemic, our business has skyrocketed.
Yes.
We have been just like, we're selling out of stuff.
Well, yeah.
Hitting numbers that we never hit before. It's been insane. And I guess a lot of it is people are shopping more from their home. They're looking for those types of things. So yeah, it's
Bob is telling you we have 8 kids.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
But no, that's all right. We have 6 at home.
Yeah.
So we're paying for 1 in college. The other one's flew the coop and he's independent. Amen. But yeah, we have 8 and I want 9. Actually, I want 13, I think. But anyways, my wife is not
your
down.
mom.
My mom.
Before you can slip there.
The mother of my children is a quitter. So this is what it is. So let's talk about let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Perdo Business Systems, because that's the business that you launched. You and I launched our businesses. We have kind of similar. Our families are very similar in a lot of ways. I lost my job first in May. I was furloughed, and then I was technically laid off in June. So I launched Bowman Digital Media about the same time you were launching yours. I launched mine in June. June 9th is when I officially said, okay, let's launch this shingle. But how did that come about? What is it? I'm going to pull the website up. So just give people an introduction to like what made you have that confidence to go from being an employee to business owner? Because that's a big change, obviously.
It's a combination of things. One is I don't sit around very well. Yeah. And when I got furloughed out, I was looking around going, what is there? There's a lot of other people, not unlike myself, that were also being furloughed and out of work. So the job market was saturated suddenly with a lot of good people and a lot of opportunities. Speaking with a couple of companies, especially in the startup and technology space, a lot of them were looking for someone to come in just on a part-time basis and help them learn from mistakes that we've learned along the way. So that's kind of where Perdo was launched. The name was actually chosen because of it being a stone, and ironically ended up it is my birthstone. And it's all about success, and it's all about helping you grow. And that's where the model of my business is to influence business growth. We start with experience and we finish with excellence. So we focus especially on smaller companies, and our primary focus is to take them from down groveling in the sand and help them start climbing the rungs of the ladder so that they're open to more capital from other companies, that they're open to new channel partnerships, that they don't try to build everything themselves, but they actually use partners to help them.
And this is the stone here?
Yes, it is.
I have a ring with that. Your dad and stepmom. Yeah.
There you go. Look at that. Doesn't he look so handsome there?
I clean up good once or twice a year.
Yeah. There you go. That's like my pictures. Every once in a while, I look good.
You look the same in all your pictures.
I do not.
We took pictures and like
Every single one of them is the same.
Looked the same.
Doesn't even matter. All right, so this is the end. Now blogs. I love blogs. I like to consume blogs. So I have to come and read your blogs. Do you allow guest writers or everything's yourself?
I've never had anyone want to do a guest blog. They're always open to.
Yeah, I know a few things about networking. I'd be willing to write one for you.
That is always open.
I'll tell you what I love about writing blogs and have people writing blogs for me is it gives another voice, and usually they have a different expertise level. So it's like a specialty thing that you wouldn't necessarily cover, but then it helps you, your audience from that perspective. So I don't mind doing it. It'd be kind of fun. Who is your ideal client?
Well, that's a tough
one. When networking with Ira on Tuesdays, this one.
But that's a tough answer because there is no client that you don't want except for someone who doesn't believe that they have a problem.
Yeah, true. True. Okay, so your specialty then, let's flip it around.
My specialty is focusing on the entrepreneur, the startup, the smaller businesses who just need that little push or that little bit of help. And right now, I've been able to work through government grant programs. So I've actually been helping them by showing them programs which will allow them to hire me that the government is help funding. And in return, they get my expertise to help them grow.
Yeah, no, I like it. Okay.
So I have a question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how has your business influenced her business? Has that influenced you a lot, Allie, and helped you at all, or?
It has, because I would say I'm definitely not technologically gifted. So yeah, it's not, I can operate my phone and that's maybe as far. So it's definitely helped. And Stu's grown. I mean, from when we first met to now, we're, completely different person. I mean, the same, but a lot of grown in a lot of his skills. And so it definitely has impacted me, and it's been wonderful, and we kind of just share and, get advice and ideas from each other, as I'm sure you do, about, how to approach this or how to work with this. And so, we kind of work together on some of the things, and it's really great.
Yeah, I know, just even watching him through 20 years of sales experience and selling, and
yeah,
I'll just hear little things. And so now I hear myself saying things like touches and different things that he said as I'm training my team.
I'm a fungus. If you hang out with me, I'm going to grow on you.
So, yeah, I don't know that we talk so much about the trouble, but I see, and I'm sort of off on the side saying, oh, okay. And I come to him sometimes, like yesterday, I'm like, hey, can you do this for me? I am not technologically gifted either.
Well, let's put it this way. I can cook as well as she can do IT, and I can't cook.
Hey, I set up my Dymo printer all by myself, so I'm
install a plug and play printer.
I experienced challenges.
I know you did. So you did it. She did it. And I can cook spaghetti and macaroni. So there you go.
That's okay. That's great.
All right. So the biggest challenge you're facing right now, and this can be for both of you and your businesses. So, it could be the woodworking one too, if you want. But, so Peridot.
Peridot.
Am I saying it right? Am I saying it wrong? I don't know.
Peridot.
It's like bread. Got it.
It's like French.
Dough. I'm not very sophisticated. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that, but I'm like a redneck. So there you go. Okay, so Peridot, the woodworking, or either Pampered Chef or Epicure, the biggest challenge that you're facing right now.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wow. So it gets is alignment. Is aligning myself with the right people. Am I with the right leadership? And having the aligning values, you know what I mean? And fitting in and it's something that I kind of go back and forth with. And it's something that I'm going to say right now, it's definitely a struggle. That is one of my biggest, is making sure that I have the support and I'm aligned with my leadership. And I would say that you and I have conversations around Peridot and kind of where you're aligned, maybe in a different sense. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, and I think I'm not unlike my wife that way. And there has been companies where I've actually walked away from because I'm just not aligned with them. I don't believe in some of their business principles. I don't believe in their ethics.
Yeah.
And yes, at the end of the day, you have to keep a roof over your head,
Yeah.
but at what cost?
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, the cost of doing business is also the cost of having some integrity. And I would rather still walk away with my head up
Yeah.
and have to go out and work a second, third, or fourth job than to stoop down and lay my principles down.
Right.
Sure. You and I have that in common. I've actually fired several clients and refused to work with others, even when they've, they're like, why don't you want to work with me? I'm like, because we have different visions. We have different communication styles, and you're going to drive me insane, and I'm not going to do it. So, it's a blessing to have the ability, like you're saying, with these other, you can call them side hustles. You can call them whatever you want, paid hobbies or whatever. But the fact is, there are right now so many different ways that you can make money, and you wouldn't necessarily want to do like the woodworking full time. Although I think that you would love it if you could, you know what I mean? But certainly you can make extra money. The money that my wife makes with Scentsy, just in full disclosure, doesn't cover our regular bills, but it allows us to do a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Go on vacations and, maybe extra Christmas presents, birthday presents. I think the last couple of years, Scensy's paid for all our Christmas stuff. You know what I mean? Which is,
and I take some of the weight off your shoulders, because when I need to buy something, sometimes I'm like, I'll just buy it from
right
this account, so it's not coming from the bills. And so
no doubt about it. So I mean, it is a blessing for sure to be able to have that freedom to say, you know what, I don't feel like I have to take this just because.
Well, and I think with the MLMs, I don't think a lot of people think about that, and I think the structure, your support systems, makes all the difference in who your sponsoring, your sponsorship. And not that it defines you, because I know people that had horrible sponsors that have done really well.
You can overcome it.
Yeah, but I think that was one of my things with Scentsy, is I did have some leadership that invested and helped me, and I could go to, and for the most part, the people I've aligned with have had a good vision of customer service, about sponsoring, all those things, and treating people like people.
Yeah.
And that's actually a Scentsy value too, and you've probably seen it too, is the integrity of the company. Not that everybody, I've seen some bad apples,
and we've been burned.
But
we have been burned by some of her team.
Yeah, but
when you trust people and then they burn you, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for us with the Scentsy stuff, a lot of times it's, they don't have something on hand when we lend it to them, and then they either don't give it back or don't pay us. It's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
one time very large amount.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was one of the things, because you may not know this, we've said it in previous shows, is I sold 3 other product lines also in the past, and
very different experiences.
Very different. Some just never really took off. Others started off great and then fizzled. But Scentsy was different for me. One, I think just because I love the products, but also because of the people that I surrounded myself with, and just I think I love the products. And truthfully, he didn't think I could do it, and so that lit a little fire under me. Like, I can't fail again.
It's an interesting. It's actually interesting. It's going to sound off, but it's the truth. I mean, it just is what it is. When my wife started the Cookie Lee stuff and the H2O stuff, I wasn't against it, because I'm like, well, okay, it could work. But then those didn't work, and they were kind of big flames, right? So then she came to me with the Scentsy thing, and I was like, yeah, we've done it, and I'm tired of spending money, and then it just sits in the shelf. But the Scentsy thing is completely different. So I eat crow because she's been successful, and I love it. And
I've been doing it 5.5 years now.
But when she came to me with it, I said no.
Yeah, he reminded me of all the jewelry.
I'm not.
And it's funny because as I put jewelry on today, I'm wearing some Cookie Lee jewelry.
Yeah. So, but then the shoe's on the other foot too, because when I lost my job at ARC, they'd let me go. I have 20 plus years experience in the print business, and just go find another job. But I didn't believe
We have 8 kids.
Yeah, I didn't believe that was the right thing to do. I believed with all my heart that I could launch my own business and that I could make this thing go. And she was like, "No, I don't want you to do that." And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna try it."
It actually, because he had been furloughed first and was dabbling and was making some money, I was a little bit more like, okay, maybe like, but for me, I like security. I don't like change. I don't
see the paycheck as secure anymore because I was doing a great job for the company I was with. It was no fault of my own. The pandemic happened. Yeah. So I'm like, if you can lose your job, no matter what your performance is at any time, I would rather, and you guys know this, you have 8 clients, 20 clients, 50 clients, however many clients you have, your paycheck is distributed by all of those. If you lose any client, you're not losing everything. The only way to lose it all would be to shut down your business, right? So in my mind, when that happened, I'm like, I would rather have multiple clients and any one. And actually, I'm going to tell you guys a tip just for everybody watching. When I set up my business model, I said, okay, I'm going to put in a structure where I don't take any one client for more than 25% of my overall income. That way, if I do lose them, it might hurt. Losing 25% of your income would definitely hurt, right? It might hurt me, but it isn't going to kill me. Like the day I was furloughed, I was working on 2 $100,000 deals, and I had another deal that was over 10 figures. And so for my quota, I was going to be way over. My boss called me. The moment he was calling me, it was a Friday afternoon, Friday 5:30. I was talking to another friend, my buddy Joe Stepke. And I'm like, hey, just hang on a second, because it's just going to be probably a quick 30-second call. He probably wants to know how that meeting just went, because it was a big meeting, right? So that's what I thought it was going to be, like a pat on the back. Congratulations. I was going to be excited to tell him. And then he's like, I got really bad news for you. And I'm like, what? And then I got furloughed. So, you know what I mean? So for me, that was a paradigm shift in my mind. So I understood how my wife felt about the security of the pay, but I no longer felt that way. And I don't know that I ever will go back to being a full-time employee for anybody. It would take a lot. It would take probably a stake in the company and a huge salary to make me want to give up what I'm building at Bowman Digital Media. But
so if anybody's offering a huge stake in a big company, what do you get?
That's what it is. But anyway, you get that, right, Stu? So that's where I'm at with all this. Well, we have appreciated having you on. We're running short on time, so I'm going to do this. I've got your links to Epicure Peridot. Did I say it right? I think I got it right, Miley. And the Woodworking Inn. But if you guys want to just take, a minute or so and wrap it up and, tell people why they should join your team, Allie, and then why they should,
or try the products too.
Well, yeah. If they want to host a party, I'm sure you guys have all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
For anybody who doesn't know, we've been saying the acronym MLM. What it stands for is multi-level marketing. It is not a pyramid scheme. It's just a management and payment style. But every company, I'm sure Epicure and Pampered Chef do it a little bit differently, the way you pay and promote and all that stuff. They're all different. So you do have to look at each opportunity for what it is. But if you want to talk a little bit about the opportunity, I don't know what you can say and can't say on camera. I don't, I don't want you to get in trouble with your.
Yeah, no, I will say that with Pampered Chef, for those that are watching that are in Canada, I can definitely give my website and definitely can reach out to me. It is different. It is separate from the American Pampered Chef. So anyone watching from the United States, you would be needing to order from a US consultant or hosting from sort of US or joining a US team. Anyone watching in Canada definitely can join it. The thing is with both Pampered Chef and Epicure, it's food. We all have to eat. We all need to cook, regardless if it's spaghetti or I think you said you can make spaghetti or macaroni. We still have to cook it. I mean, we even have Epicure has a mac and cheese solution for you too. So it's important. It's, we're all sort of, especially right now when we're all at home, we're all, kind of limited as to what we can do. We're all having to eat, and we're all looking for healthy solutions for our families who are at home. So, I do encourage people to reach out and take a look at the Epicure, because it is new to the US if you are in the US, and it's a great opportunity.
Sorry, is the Epicure the same that we can't order directly from you?
No, Epicure is different. So Epicure works together. And so, people from the United States can join, can host and can join based on the site aligerber.epicure.com. And it's a great opportunity because it's just sort of hitting the ground there, right? And again, it's food. You cannot go wrong with food. You cannot go wrong with Pampered Chef and the quality. I mean, so many people have it in their kitchens. It's been around for 40 years. So that's why I do it. That's why I love it. And I'm enjoying it the more I get into it and the more I learn, right? The more I learn from others like yourself and from my husband. So it's fantastic. And I'm in it for the long haul. So
cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out the Epicure. So
take a look.
In Canada too. So
so for everybody watching, food and something that smells nice.
Right. Or if you don't want to bake, you can put in a scent that smells like you've been baking.
And you also can use the scents. He's got cleaning products, so after you're done cooking, you can clean up with the.
Yeah, but I want to check that out because I do like to cook, and he likes to eat. So
I love to eat. We got married less than a year after meeting because this lady could cook, so I had to put her.
I'm with you. My first night that I spent with my wife, she got up and cooked me bacon and eggs. Yeah, I haven't left.
Yep.
Like a stray cat, he just won't go.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. All right. So a wrap up on peridot. I almost said peridot again. I have it in my mind. I don't know. Whatever.
So quick synopsis of peridot. We're all about helping businesses grow. Ira helps through Bowman Digital Media. He also is helping people through his project, Help You Grow, helping individuals. I work in a similar concept, except I'm focusing a little bit more on the business aspect and the channel partnership. We're great complements to each other as far as our businesses. Take your businesses, go to the next level, reach out, have some help from others. You know what? United as a team, we can help each other grow.
No doubt about it. And I'm going to tell you that you're going to be very hard pressed to find anybody nicer on all of social media than my buddy Stu. And that's why I invited him on the show, frankly, because his wife is in MLM. And I just thought the symmetry there was beautiful.
It's a great first guest to have.
It really is. It really is. So you might see them back again. I really enjoyed this.
Now, is Allie on LinkedIn and where are you on social media?
I am not. I am on Facebook and Instagram.
So. All right, so that's more me. I'm trying to do the LinkedIn.
There's a symmetry here that just is.
And Instagram, I have to ask the 14-year-old to help me with it. I don't. It's not clicking. So
Instagram is more my speed because I am also a photographer and videographer. So I'm doing that as part of my Bowman Digital Media Services. Right. So I'm building that thing up. I'm over 7,000 followers on there now.
Well, Allie, send me a friend request on Facebook. I can't accept it right now because I'm in Facebook jail.
No problem.
On February 16th, I'll start responding to everybody.
I love it.
And if you get a message from Marlena or Ira,
it
might be from
perfect.
But anyways. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It was an absolute pleasure.
To anybody that's looking to get a hold of Allie, if you're not sure, just reach out to me or Stu, and we will connect you with her. Somehow we'll get the message to her, smoke signals or whatever. Guys, don't freeze to death in Canada.
Oh my goodness!
If it gets too cold, you can always come visit us here in SoCal, where we wear jackets at 70 degrees.
Hey, we are due. We haven't been there for almost 4 years, so.
One day we need to get up there. That would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of people. I have a lot of friends in Canada. I've got Paula and Ron Craig and all kinds of people. So
one
of these days, but it won't be in the winter. I promise you. It'll be in the summer. See y'all later.
Right.
All right, take care.
All right. Well, that was our friends, Stu and Allie. And see why I had them on? I mean, if you guys are watching, you can see a lot of similarities to the Bowmans and the Gerbers. So anyways, that's why I wanted to have them on. Let's do this. Before we do the implant illness thing, let's do your spotlight for Scentsy. So I'm going to pull this back up.
All right. So I wanted to show you guys today a fragrance flower. Now this one, we've actually colored.
Where do I find that? Do I just go fragrance flower?
You can. You'd also find it in the unplugged section.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say, oh no, I can't spell. So hang on, let me go back.
So wait.
Nowhere.
Unplugged right here.
Unplugged. All right, there it is.
So the fragrance flowers are like the reed diffuser almost. So this is actually a little wooden flower. It's pressed wood, and these are handmade. So all of them look a little bit different, but there are two basic styles. This is the bell, the buttercup bell.
Which one is it?
Well, this one is in Cozy Cardigan, the buttercup bell. Go down. There you go.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah. One of the fun things is before you put it in the oil, that goes up this little wick. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not because it's too bright, I think. There's a little wick in here, and it goes up, and the oil goes into the flower.
So we're going to get it closer so you can see. So it travels from the bottom up the wick to the flower, and then it colorizes it, which is...
Well, I actually, so me and the girls, we went in with some Sharpies, and we put some ink around the edges before we put it in the oil, and it... then helps diffuse the color down. So it's sort of a fun project if you want to get some girls together or whatever and have a little wine and craft night or coffee and craft night, whatever. You can do that. They make great gifts. You don't have to have a whole fragrance system. So these are standalone. It's one and done. It lasts about 60 days or so. And the fragrance is very light. So if you're trying to scent a whole big room, this isn't it, but
yeah, it's great for bathrooms.
Great for a little bathroom and those types of things. Though I have to say, it depends on how sensitive to scent you are. Because I had a customer come over and say, "Whoa, that fragrance flower I got was so strong," and I was like, "Really?"
So I actually think they're strong too. It really depends on your nose.
Yeah. Do you think?
Now I'm going to say this though: when you first put them in the restroom, because in full disclosure, we use this in our restroom, so. When she first changes it out, it's like the first day or two, it seems a little stronger, and then it kind of...
Well, you get used to it.
Yeah.
So your guests and those types of things will probably smell it more. So, yeah, so I have a Scentsy with wax and the warmer in the main part of our bathroom, but we have the little powder room, the toilet area that has its own door and stuff. And I put these on the back of the toilet to have just a continual scent in there. And they're just great little gifts, great for teachers, great for...
And they're not expensive. I don't know if you guys saw, but they're $16. So
yeah, and they're just sort of a fun
60 days for $16 is pretty cheap as far as,
Yeah.
And it doesn't use any power. I like that.
You and your power.
All right, that's enough of that. So if you're interested in Scentsy, we talk about it every week. We went long with the Gerbers, so we're gonna have it be that.
Oh yeah.
For Bowman Digital Media this week, I don't know what to talk about. I made a couple videos on YouTube. In fact, you know what? That's what I'll do. I'm going to show you. If you guys are not familiar with my channel, I will post it here so you can join. I would love to have you subscribe. I'm over 7,000 subscribers now on my YouTube channel too, which makes me feel very good. Thank you for the support. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up this right here, and then I'm going to pull this up just to show y'all what I did is I've been working on trailers and intros for company videos. So this is just kind of a compilation of some of the animations that I've made throughout the last 2 weeks. So like this one's for Joanne Gore Communications. And this one's a little bit long. This one is for Preferred Petroleum Services out of Texas. So they deliver fuel to like construction sites and projects. This one's for Joe Stepke, Joe the finance guy. It's kind of a secondary one to highlight his hashtag. It's for my buddies at NBS. This is Job Ready Today. He helps people with career coaching and resume writing. Yeah, that one's fun, right? This one here is for our church. I'm on the social media team for our church, so I'll help them out. And this one, actually, I'm going to be updating. We want to do something a little more snazzy. This one's fun. This is for Gondel hairnuts. They do the little carts. They make a net that goes over the top to keep everything contained in the plant. This is our buddy Panna Nose, Kelly Robinson. I like that sound. I used it a couple times, as you can tell. This one made my wife want to go to the bathroom.
So well, you don't have to go to the bathroom before, but I like it though. I do like it.
It is fun, but yeah.
And maybe it didn't have that same effect on me today, so maybe it was just the moment.
If you have to go to the restroom, it probably, yeah. Anyways, this is for my friends at Sparkfish. They do custom software development and app creations. And Tremazing, they do sales training for sales teams. This is a little company called Project Help You Grow. You might have heard of it. And then
You've been busy.
Joe, the finance guy, yeah. I work hard. And then the last one's for me, which got covered up by the card. Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to do that to me on YouTube. But anyways, so that's what I've been working on this week and last week a little bit. But so I just thought I'd show you guys. Anyways, that's the Bowman Digital Media stuff. Now we're going to talk about the story of the day. It's usually, again, look, usually we do like anecdotal stuff and we tell a silly story to make fun of me, like the tennis ball or the 27 or
Next week, the chauvinist.
Next week, the story of how we met. Which actually makes you look a little more mean than me, I think. I don't know. But anyways.
It makes me look feisty.
We're going to
Spicy.
We're going to talk about something that is a little more serious this time. My wife had health conditions for quite a while, undiagnosed, although believe me, we tried like crazy to figure it out. So this is not a lighthearted story, but hopefully this could be like a public service announcement for anybody considering getting breast implants. Here is maybe something, a less talked about thing. What happens when it goes wrong? And, it's just something to consider.
And it's not just when it goes wrong. It's not just when they leak. They tell you, oh, you have these risks, but it's coming out more and more. And actually the FDA just updated their website and included breast implant illness as a risk.
There you go.
Which it doesn't have to leak.
We had no idea about this stuff. Maybe they told us, but I certainly don't remember.
No, I was not told any of this. So about 6.5 years ago, really, it was right after our daughter was born. And actually, looking back, it was maybe before that even, but after she was born, I just did not feel well. I was so really tired. That was the big thing, tired. I was so tired. And I just had a baby. So I went to my doctor and I said, you know what, maybe I had postpartum because I'd had that one other time. And I thought, I'm really tired. It doesn't feel the same, but maybe it's just different. And so we tried some antidepressants. It didn't help. Then she ran some more tests. Let's run these tests. Well, you're borderline on your B. Let's give you a B12 injection. We doing more and more things. And then it started getting to the point where I felt like I was just hurt all the time. My body hurt. And I would say I felt like I was beaten overnight. And so we just kept searching. And then a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, just more and more things were going on.
Yeah, but the thing about the tiredness was it started to really affect our life. Like my wife didn't want to get out of bed. Now we have 8 kids, okay? So
that's what they would tell me. Well, you have 8 kids. Well, I didn't all of a sudden have 8 kids.
But I was at work a lot. And where I was working, especially the last couple of years. So like when I worked in Texas, I one day would go to Austin. The next day I would go to San Antonio. Well, that's anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half commute time, depending on where I was going each way. And I was in management. So I was working 10, 12-hour days. So I basically was gone anywhere from 13 to 14 hours a day. So I wasn't home. So my wife is home. She's extremely tired. Sometimes not getting out of bed at all. Right.
No,
I mean,
no,
there were days that you didn't get out of bed.
Well, that was later. But in the beginning. But I would do so tired. I remember being at dinner time and I just want to lay on the island because I was just so tired. And my body hurt and it just kept getting worse
and bruising
and worse. And and so then I had I had a couple different procedures done, and one I had a bleeding issue, and they had to go back in and stop the bleeding, and that was for some female issues. And then a few months later, I had my gallbladder out, and I almost died. I was not recovering. They had to send me to the hospital because it was supposed to be outpatient, and I was bleeding internally. And so then they said, there's something wrong with you. Basically, do not have any more procedures until you have this figured out. And so
they diagnosed you with something.
Then they diagnosed me with von Willebrand disease, which is supposed to be hereditary, but I never had any issues my whole life. And I did more and more research, and my dad has strokes. He clots too much. This is not clotting enough. He doesn't have it. My mom then, before she had her surgery, was tested and she didn't have it. I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. I dig more and it says it can be brought on with autoimmune disease. So I'm like, okay, well, while all this is coming about and I'm developing this blood clotting disorder, I'm now aching and tired. And then what came about later was weakness, especially on the right side of my body.
Yep.
And tremors
and the heart palpitations
and there would be times I couldn't cut my own food. I remember having to have my daughter cut my food for me because I could not, or stir food because I couldn't, the weakness, I couldn't do it. And I was shaking so bad.
The shakes were awful.
The tremors. And so I went to the doctor. I said, something's wrong. And he looked at me and he's like, he thought I had MS. And so he immediately sent me for MRI and set up with neuro. Well, I go to meet with the neurologist and she says,
you're crazy.
Yeah, basically. She said, well, you don't have MS and I think you need to see psych. But as she examines me.
Hang on a second, but let's talk about this because I don't know that this is coming clear. How much time from the start to the psych comment?
That was about 3-4 years.
So that's what I want people to understand. This was a long journey. It was like a 4-year episode of House, trying to figure out what's wrong, not really knowing there was something serious wrong in the beginning, just being tired to like I might have multiple sclerosis. You know what I mean? That's a huge and there was other things that we thought it could be in between. So it's a long, draining. Am I dying journey?
And no answers, which is really frustrating.
No answers, right? To being told you're nuts.
Yeah. So she basically left it but she did actually, as she examined me, because she said all that before she actually examined me. As she examined me, she's like, because there were actually something wrong with me.
There was some physical symptoms.
And she said, well, let's actually do another MRI of your spine because maybe it's affecting your spine, not your brain. And to go and do that. And I just get a message that says, your spine is clear.
Go see psych.
And so I was going to, and I said, you know what, forget it. We had spent hundreds of dollars at this point. And you know what, finances are tight.
Hundreds, my ass.
Yeah. Okay, lots of money. And I'm like, you know what, I've already tried antidepressants. You know what? I don't think this is in my head. There's something physically wrong.
Yeah.
It got to the point, like I used to do events on Saturdays with Sensi, and a lot of times out early in the morning and come home later, but out all day. That Sunday, a lot of times I wouldn't make it to church, especially first thing.
Yeah. If she did a Saturday event, she was done for 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
And so, maybe I would make it to the second service, but, and by the time I was getting my energy up again, now I'm just trying to play catch up on the week. And then I'm back at it on Saturday. It was a vicious cycle. And so I sort of given up and I was like, okay, this is just my new reality. There's no answers. My brother sent me an article and said, I think you should look at this. And it actually was talking about a breast cancer you can get from breast implants, but it also talked about breast implant illness. And so I joined a group on Facebook, actually joined a couple, and I read stories. And I said, this sounds like me.
Yeah.
And the symptoms are wide ranging.
Well, and at the same time, I had just been involved with helping raise money for one of the SPN members who had this illness and couldn't afford the surgery. They wanted $25,000 to get her breast implants removed, and they knew that she had a leak and that this was killing her, but she didn't have insurance, and they wouldn't do the surgery without the money. So
a lot of insurance just won't cover it.
Yeah, so Mike and I from SPN went on a big blitz to raise money to get this lady the money she needed. Now, we didn't raise all of it, but we raised a large part of money. So it was just interesting, the timing. You know, like God works in mysterious ways. It was one of those things where I don't know if I would have taken it so seriously, but I'd seen the pictures, the before and after of this lady that we helped. And so anyways, it was
well, and it's one of those things going into it. So I looked at it for a good couple months before I said, you know what, I think I need to get these things out. But you're going into it and you don't know, is that the answer?
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm gonna get these out. What am I gonna look like after?
Oh, that was
and
a big deal.
will I feel better? And
that was a big deal.
And honestly, having mine put in was actually paid by the insurance. And so, because I had some
size deficiency,
asymmetry that was severe enough that they paid for them. And so, excuse me, I'm gonna take a little sip here, but
so we weren't sure they were going to cover pulling it out.
Yes, but the nice thing is that when I had them in, I was with Kaiser, and they had told me back then, you really should have it MRIs to get them looked at, make sure there's no leaks and those types of things. At this point, I had had them for about 10 years. And so I'm like, okay, well, they paid for them to be in, then they should be probably more responsive, right? Not necessarily. So I'm like, I want an MRI done. No, we won't do an MRI. We'll do a mammogram. Well, that's not really what you're supposed to have done. It doesn't show as much. But that's all they would do. And I said, nope, they're fine. The thing that going back to is after you start putting pieces together, around the time Vivian was born, or when I was pregnant with her, I had a change in my one breast where I had this little
it was like a lump, but it wasn't like a lump like you would expect. It was like a pillow that was folded over and sticking out.
It was like a point.
Hard.
And so I had gone to the doctor then, and they said, oh, your implant just folded, so it's creating this little point, and it's no big deal. Well, ironically, a year or two later is when I started getting sick. And so
that could have been the moment.
Looking at it going back is I think it had ruptured. And because it ruptured, now it was changing and shifting. And at this point too, now my breasts were getting harder, which is called a capsular contracture. There's like a scar tissue that forms around them to protect your body.
It's trying to seal off the silicone.
This foreign object. And when it gets thicker and thicker, a lot of times when you have a leak or something, it will keep trying to build it up. It gets harder and harder. So they said, nope, there's no leak. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to the plastic surgeon and I'm going to ask to get these things out, and I sort of did my research, and I was like, you had to mention keywords, and there was pain from firming and all those stuff. And luckily Kaiser was going to pay for them. Now I found out that Kaiser of Southern California is not as responsive as Kaiser Northern California. And I went and, long story short, I did have them out. Guess what? There was a leak.
You're not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
And you're much better.
And I'm much better. I'm not 100% better. I think there is damage that has just been done. I may still even have silicone floating around in my body.
I think she does have some residual in there.
And so, especially I did not have the N block, which is what the most recommended form of surgery is.
She asked for it.
But they don't do it.
They didn't do it.
N block is where they take the whole scar tissue out together. So if there is a leak, they're not opening that up inside your body.
If you guys have any questions and you want to ask, because we are running short on time.
So anyways, I got them out, and there has been vast improvement. Ironically, the last couple of weeks have been harder on me. I've definitely been having a little more autoimmune issues and those types of things.
You had a hell of a 2020.
I did. I had back-to-back concussions.
And then pneumonia, double pneumonia,
COVID. And my body's just done.
And did we mention she has 8 kids?
Yeah. And so But I put it out there because there's so many women talking about it. And I'm glad that I've actually talked women out of it and that they need to love their body the way it is. Looking at my breasts now, I wish I hadn't done all that. They were better before I messed with them. Stop. Don't. It's not as bad as I thought.
But you know what?
Let's
talk about this for a second. So for those of you that, if you have them already and my wife was worried about Frankenstein. I mean, that was the expression she kept using. I'm going to look like a freak. It doesn't
Frankenboobies, I call them.
Yeah, Frankenboobies. It doesn't look anything like that, right? So it's not like awful, but it was a legitimate thing. If you have got them already, we want you to be aware of the issue. We're not saying go get them out right this second. We're not trying to advocate for that at all. What we're just trying to say is be aware. If you start to feel tired and drained all the time, that's something to consider. And if you start to wonder if you have MS or any of the other things that we started to freak about, it's just something to...
You have unexplained health issues?
Put it in your radar that it's something that could go wrong and just monitor it, right? That's what we're saying. If you are considering the surgery, look, we get it. We totally get it, right? You want more size or you want to be equal, whatever it is. What we're saying is the price, the opportunity cost is higher than you probably realized. We just want you to be aware of all the risks that come with it. It's not just benefits. It's not just the cost, the money. Can I afford it? Right? That's not the only price. The price could be, it could kill you. Yeah. And,
I do know a lady that was fighting also for her life, that there's bacteria. There's all sorts of things that go wrong with these that they don't tell you about. They tell you about the capsular contracture and a leak and those types of things to be aware of, but never was it mentioned all these autoimmune issues. And if you already have autoimmune issues already, especially, do not get them, because no matter what, this is a foreign thing in your body. Your body is going to respond.
It's already, it's foreign, and you can't see it. Like, that was the thing that drove us insane with this, was like, you don't know. And they do the scans and they don't see anything wrong. And then they are, you know what I mean?
My blood, I had so much blood work. Everything was normal and something was not. And so
there was a leak. When they pulled them out, they found it was
ruptured.
It was ruptured, right? But we didn't know that when we had them out. They told us there was no leak.
Yeah, because most of the scans won't, even an MRI won't 100% tell you that if it is or not.
Yeah.
And so, and if you really, really need to have something done, you're just it bothers you that much, look at the fat transfers and those types of things that have their own risks. But it's at least your natural body. So
look, in all seriousness, there's different strokes for different folks. Find somebody who likes you the way you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know what? A lot of times it's loving ourselves. And that was something that bothered me for many years.
Yeah.
And so when I found out insurance was going to pay for it, I was like, they're going to pay for it, because that's a big part of it, is paying for it. But I do remember I did actually have cold feet, because they did sort of talk about some of the things that could go wrong. And I'm like, they're not lifetime devices. Don't ever let a doctor tell you it's a lifetime device.
It's not. It's 10 years.
It's 10 years. And you know what? Even the saline ones, that's a silicone outside. So that can still leak in your body, the silicone. And you know the shelf life, they have a shelf life in a temperature that's cooler than your body.
Yeah.
So they're not to be stored for an extended period of time, especially over this temperature, but yet we're putting them in our bodies. And so do your homework. Do your homework. And like I said, he said, if you have any symptoms, and that's what I say to people now, I'll private message them. I'm like, you're talking about this or that. By any chance, do you have breast implants? You know what? 9 out of 10 times they do. And they're like, I had no idea. Yeah. And I have 3 friends. I never knew they had implants that are now going through a roller coaster with doctors trying to figure out what's wrong with them. And maybe it's their implants.
So if you have questions or if you already have them in, so you haven't done it, but you're considering it, or you do have them and you're not sure what's going on. If you have questions, you can reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you.
Okay.
And
I'll share
Yeah, we'll share
I'll
all
share
the
even
we'll
the
share all the
recovery
gory
and
all the
all
gory
that stuff.
detail all the gory details.
Yeah, because especially my recovery, it was actually more risky because now I had developed this blood clotting disorder.
Yeah.
And that's a big risk after. So I had to be especially careful.
How long have they been out now?
About a year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half. And there is a huge difference in the recovery in her everyday, just the energy levels. Again, it's not perfect.
It's not perfect. No, I wish I would. I wish I was the Energizer Bunny that I once was, and I could go and get up in the morning and just do. But I was able, when we first moved to this house, one of the exciting things is we had a gym, and so there was, before COVID hit, I was going to the gym.
There's still a gym, we just can't use it.
Yeah, but I was able to go the next day too.
Yeah,
and I was able to continue it. Where once upon a time, no, I would have been out. So.
All right. Well, that is not the anecdotal story of the day, but that I hope is a blessing to somebody. I'm sure a lot of people are like, I don't want to hear about your boobs, but anyways, it is what it is.
But if we can help, if I can just help one woman not go through what I'm going through,
100%.
Or get them out, get them out before it gets worse.
Yeah, 100%. So anyways, there you go. That is 8 is enough for today. If you like to talk about boobs, no, this isn't your show. This is be a one and done for us. But this show, again, for those of you who have never seen it, we don't normally talk about this stuff. We typically are talking about a couple different things. We are married for 20 plus years. We have 8 children. That's where we draw the title of the show, 8 is enough from. It's a spoof because I want strive for 9. So my wife wins that battle for now. I haven't wore it down yet. Eventually I'll get there. Anyways, we also
just talked about how tired I am.
We talk about sales from 2 different points of view. I am a 20-year plus outside business to business sales rep. My wife is a 5-year plus business to consumer sales rep via an MLM. So we talk about all that stuff on the show. And we typically have one anecdotal story an episode where we talk about something that makes me look like a fool. But it's fun. It's in good spirits. We're going to talk about how we met next time and how my wife's opening sentence to me was, that's a little chauvinistic.
And your friend Alex needs to watch the true story of how we met, not what he decided to.
Well, we could talk about that too as part of the show because it's a lot of fun. Because I have more people, I think, believing that my wife was blocking my shot.
We'd have to explain that later.
We'll talk about that later. That's a pool thing. Anyways, all right, Joe. Well, we've had a little bit too much fun, but we hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you again to the Gerbers for being our first guest here on the show. Again, if you're interested in Pampered Chef, Epicure, or, also remember, he makes his own woodworking and he has the Peridot Business Solutions. If you're interested in any of that, reach out to me and I will get you in touch with Stu or Allie as appropriate. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
.com